Welcome to the 6th edition of News Central TV, coming to you live from our studios in Abuja. I'm Nelta Egbe, and here are our top stories. Amnesty International to launch campaign against Osun East Senator Francis Fadansi over alleged kill comments. 3 killed as herders clash with youth in Plateau State. Vote counting begins in Zambia as the people await the presidential election results. Details of these and others in a moment. Stay with us. We'll begin in Zambia, where vote counting is underway after millions of voters cast their ballots in the country's presidential elections. The president, Hakainde Hichilema, is seeking a second term in office, but voters also choosing lawmakers and local representatives. The election has drawn close attention as Hichilema faces opposition challenges over the country's economic direction and the cost of living. With polling closed, electoral officials have begun the process of counting and verifying ballots, with results expected as the collation continues. News Central's Bongani Siziba is in Zambia and now joins us for an update. Bongani, good day, and tell us, what's your situation there?
Hello, Nyota, and also our NC viewers. Yes, vote has closed in Zambia. I can safely say at the polling station where we are in Lusaka, one of the polling stations where that had a very long queues starting from the morning, vote has officially closed here. If I could ask my colleague Bonelo just to show you inside those ballot boxes that you are seeing, they are waiting to open them. When they open them, then they start counting. But on the other side of the room, of course, counting, we have seen counting that just began their counting votes, and similarly I think it's also happening in many polling stations around Zambia. When these results are counted here, they will be tallied, then they will be taken to the National Tally Center where they will be tallied again, and we understand the commission, Electoral Commission of Zambia said that by Monday the results will be expected. But also we saw the president of Zambia also voting this afternoon at this very polling station where we saw a number of citizens also voting here. But let me just bring in Dr. Kula, also director of the organ of the SADC, just to speak to us about the elections today as an observer. Dumelang that.
Ma'am, how are you?
I'm good. Voting has closed. You have been observing. What have you observed about these Zambia elections?
Look, since this morning, during our, we observed the opening of the polling station. We are here now, the very same polling station we observed this morning to see the closing. What we have seen in a number of polling stations, it's peace. Everybody's going on with their business. It's very quiet. You will not even think there are elections in Zambia. So, but yeah, I think everybody had an opportunity, those who wanted to vote, to come and vote.
Did you see any incident just before the elections and maybe today? Was there any violence, anything that was reported?
Look, there are pockets of violence that were reported, but not what we have seen. I have never seen any violence here in Lusaka or wherever I have been. No, I have never seen anything.
And you've been an observer for many SADC countries and seeing what Zambia has been able to achieve when it comes to peace, especially during elections. What does this mean?
Look, it means we are progressing as a region. But what is important now is not the peace that you see before the elections and during the elections. The most important thing is the peace that needs to prevail when the results are announced. That is the most important peace that we are looking for.
Enkos, so Nyota, you just heard from the observers. If I could ask my colleague just to show inside where voting, counting is just happening. So it was a very significant moment as we saw Zambians coming in their large numbers voting, and some key messages from President Hakainde Hichilema after voting emphasized on the importance of peaceful voting process and reminding citizens that their votes are vital for the country's future. He also reassured the public that his government is committed in ensuring that there's smooth electoral process, and additionally also highlighting the importance of unity and urging all voters to vote peacefully. But also we know that on the opposition bench also Brian Madubile also voted in Lusaka. He's the main candidate, the contender for President Hakainde Hichilema. So Nyota, we wait for the counting of these votes that will be taken to the National Tally Center, where we will be tomorrow just to see what's happening there. But I can officially tell you that voting has ended in Zambia, and vote counting has officially begun. Speak to you in the studio for now.
Thank you so much, Bongani. Our correspondent, Bongani Siziba, in Zimbabwe, covering the elections. We'll stay with you and get back in subsequent bulletins for more updates. Thank you. Do stay safe. Well, from Zambia, we return to Nigeria, and we're going to Osun State. This time, Amnesty International Nigeria says it will publicly expose Senator Francis Fadausi over alleged inciting remarks ahead of the Osun State governorship election. Fadausi, who represents Osun East and a member of the All Progressives Congress, has faced criticisms following a video circulated online in which he allegedly urged supporters to attack members of their Accord party. The Osun State Police Command summoned the lawmaker on Tuesday and questioned him for about 2 hours the following day before granting him bail. The organization's country director, Issa Sanusi, says Amnesty International would raise the matter across the 150 countries where it operates, warning against statements that could encourage political violence. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress has alleged the complicity of the divisional police officer Segun Fatoki in an attack allegedly led by Osun State House of Assembly Speaker Olawale Egbedun on its members in Okuku. At a press conference in Osogbo, the party said its House of Representatives candidate was ambushed at the Okuku police station or division after seeking a refuge there. They also alleged that 2 APC members were abducted. APC Media Committee member Kehinde Ayotunji alleged that a nephew of Campaign Director General Oluwole Oke was killed in Eso-Oke, accusing political opponents of intimidation ahead of Saturday's elections.
Ambush. The way we will have lost Honorable Francis Eniade yesterday was the way we lost Honorable Remi Abbas from Irewole local government in February last year. The same DPO that involved in Honorable Remi Abbas killing, who told him that the local government was already secure and invited him to come and address the workers at the local government before he was ambushed and gruesomely murdered. It was the same DPO that in the local government that supervised that attack. We appreciate the effort of the police, but a conduct like this is also disappointing. Because if somebody's life is under threat, I think the safest place to run to is police station. And when you now get to that police station, it was at that police station that because somebody is a speaker of an House of Assembly that attacked his supporter, they were damaging the vehicle at the presence of politicians. They whisked away his supporters and their destination remained unknown as at this moment. This is also disappointing, and we want police authority to investigate this.
Well, despite the back and forth between the political parties, the Red Cross Society of Nigeria is urging the residents of Osun State to come out en masse to vote during Saturday's elections, reaffirming its commitment to the people's health and well-being. The Humanitarian Society, at a training session in preparation for the election, emphasized its neutrality and non-affiliation with any of the political parties. The society assured the electorate of its services regardless of the candidate its members would vote for.
The essence of this is to render our own humanitarian support, because we know during the course of the election, people might be on long standing. So there might be dizziness and some other stuff. We don't pray for any kind of violence, but in case there is either big or minor, we are there to be on standby to render our own first aid service.
The Nigerian Red Cross Society and the Red Cross movement itself has always been neutral. We are bounded by the 7 fundamental principles, which is humanity, impartiality, neutrality, independent, voluntary service, unity and universality. So in the Nigerian Red Cross Society, neutrality is part of our principle. We have always been neutral, and we always provide neutral assistance to those that are injured, wounded, and all and sundry.
Staying with the Osun elections, rights activist Omoyele Sowore has reacted to viral comments attributed to Senator Jibola Fadamsi concerning attacks on voters who may support parties other than the APC. While speaking on News Central's Breakfast Central on Thursday, Sowore expressed concerns over what he described as threat and inflammatory rhetorics ahead of the elections. He stressed that voters should be free to choose their preferred candidates without fear of violence. The rights activist also alleged that he was attacked while traveling to Osun State, describing the incident as a cause for concern.
Any election in which the most important person is the garrison commander of a military unit is no longer a democracy, and that's what we saw in Osun State yesterday. So soldiers in their large numbers, policemen. I've probably never seen that number of armed persons, except in war situations that we saw in Osun State. So what you heard from them is the reaction. And of course, it's not just saying it, they have already killed people. As of yesterday, they were still killing people in Elisha. You know, it's not only political warfare, it's also gang warfare, you know, in Osun State. Most of the cult gangs are, you know, involved. The NURTW people are there. There's a lot of weaponry in Osun State, and it was just crazy. It didn't look like we're going into an election. It looked like we're going to war. If you look at these other guys, they have nothing to offer other than death and blood, and pain and sorrow. Nothing. I mean, an election that hasn't happened yet. Over 50 people have already been killed in Osun State, and I'm talking about young people. It's not, and none of the political candidates had their children killed. Or they're probably not in the country anyways. They probably have flown all of them out already. But the regular poor people, young people who are supposed to be the drivers of the political process are getting killed. Osun has become a killing field as we speak. We're still 2 days away from election. If you listen to the senator very well, he did mention it that, certain persons have been killed. They mentioned names.
Yes.
And that, we're also going to kill back. It's like, you kill us, we kill you. That's what the senator was speaking to. So that analysis was properly referenced. He didn't just say it, it's not metaphorical. He says speaking exactly to what they are doing on the ground.
Well, the race for the Osun State Government House is gathering momentum, with 13 candidates remaining in the contest after one aspirant withdrew. The incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, is seeking another term on the platform of the Accord Party. His major challenger is Bola Oyebamiji of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Oyebamiji is a banker, economist, and former commissioner for finance in Osun State. Other notable contenders include former Osun Assembly Speaker Najim Salam of the ADC, Olaiwaju Farinloye of the Action Alliance, and AAC's candidate Eson Olajide. The race also features Adeagbo Okpawe of the ADP, Adewale Adebayo of the APM, and Clement Adesuyi of the APP. Mashilo Adeleke is contesting under the Boot Party, while Taufik Adeleke represents the NNPP, with education, healthcare, security, and infrastructure among his campaign priorities. Saliu Oyelami of the PRP, Ogunshakin Olalekan of the YPP, and Adefemi Adesuyi of the ZLP are also in the race. Meanwhile, ABGA's candidate Adeshino Adeyemi Doro has withdrawn and endorsed APC's Bola Oyebamiji. The election will determine who leads Osun State for the next 4 years. Well, let's now bring in News Central's correspondent on ground. Igbala Ni Omoni is on ground. Ni, tell us what's going on. 13 candidates, one has withdrawn, and it's just a few hours to the next election.
Well, today seems as if it's been taken over by APC from the start of the day, from dawn. All we had to do, all we were able to track today was activities of the APC, starting with an election observer, Development Initiative, I believe, calling for a press conference, noting claims, putting out claims and from their report, killings of APC, alleged APC stakeholders and members across various areas in Osun State. Also at the capital this morning, the Association of Concerned Local Government Workers also staged a protest early this morning, noting that they were allegedly sacked by the current administration because they were of opposition party, and that's also raised some sort of concern. Then we move to the grand finale, which is the mega rally, the APC rounding off its campaign for people to vote its candidates today, and that happened at Freedom Park, and a lot of people converged on the Freedom Park today. About 8 governors, from Governor of Lagos State to Dakwa Abiodun of Ogun State, to Governor of Ondo State, to Ubasani Kaduna State, Kwara State Governor. Even the Senate President was there to represent the President himself, and all of them were saying one thing: they want people to go out and vote for them. One other message was clear from what they were putting out today: they want some sort of realignment for the Osun State to align with the federal government in terms of polity, and of course they are proposing that would also happen in terms of development. One of the highlights of the mega rally today was the defection of the factional national chairman of the Accord Party today, removing the cap of the Accord Party right there in front of the crowd and putting on the cap of the APC, which in a way they're trying to show their strength and how much they're trying to gather momentum and let people know that there is really nothing for the opposition party here. So that was all that happened today. They've conversed, they've reeled out their messages, they've told people what they need to do, what they want for the people. They also called for peace, and they also mentioned that they don't want any sort of violence whatsoever. And, they passed subtle subs at the governor at some point, saying it's not time for dancing anymore. It's time for serious business, so that they need to move away from dancing. And a whole lot of, how politics is and how rally is in this part of the world. And those were the things that they shared today at the mega rally. It's in the less than 6-7 hours now, the campaign, we won't be able to campaign anymore. So I want to believe that they've done their bit, and now it's left to the people to really decide as they go to the polls on Saturday. For tomorrow, there's a public holiday and there won't be work, so everybody will probably just be seated at home and they won't be campaigning anymore. It's just the messages they've ruled out today will resonate with the people, and the people will decide who will be their next governor.
Thank you very much, Igbalani Omoni, our correspondent on ground in Osun State. We still have some other correspondents of News Central's doing a live blow-by-blow coverage of the governorship elections in Osun State, and we'll encourage you to keep your TV sets and devices tuned to News Central, all the way streaming on all the social media platforms as well. In the meantime, we'll take a moment, and when we return, Plateau community members call for improved security. Details of these and others in a moment. Welcome back. This is 6th edition coming to you live from our Abuja studios of News Central TV, and we're still talking about the Osun elections. Before we went on that break, we had our correspondent Igbalani Omoni give us an update on the situation on ground. We're still expecting to hear from Mercy Babajide and Omolola. But before then, let's just listen to, we do have a guest joining us virtually. He is Sunday Akere, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress. Hello, Sunday. Hello, Mr. Akere. I don't know if
good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Nice to be with you.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Well, our correspondent has reported about a lot of activities on the APC today, but let's look at the comment from the Amnesty International talking about that statement allegedly made by a member of your party about the killing of Accord and other party members. What do you think of Amnesty's decision?
Well, thank you very much. Our party, APC, is known as a progressive party. We are not used to any violence, and we are not being at least found guilty of being responsible for any intimidation, harassment, or violence in Osun. The senator himself, Senator Francis Adenigba Fadansi, has said that he was misquoted. He spoke at the venue where people are demonstrating over the killing of 3 members of our party in Ilesha 2 days ago by the talks of the Accord Party. And I want to believe that probably he spoke out of emotions, and he has said what he has corrected, that what he meant was that the people should kill Accord with their votes and not kill them with violence. And the police invited him yesterday. He made a statement. He was with them for about an hour or two, and after the statement, he was granted bail and has to go. So definitely, and if you watch the comments of leaders at our mega rally, at our final rally today, it was expressly stated by several of our leaders that APC is not known for violence. We want people to be at peace. We want peace to reign in Osun before, during, and after the elections. So, and that is what we are preaching for the people, that they should not allow the violence that is
Mr. Akere, if you can hear me, Mr. Akere, I hear you talking about what your party stands for. But Amnesty International is concerned that, yes, you've spoken about Senator Fadansi saying he was misquoted and he has gone to the police to explain what he meant by his comment. But there was the allegations of another member of your party saying about the same thing too, a member of the House of Representatives, insisting that opposition party members be killed. But let's put that to one side and look at, is there a possibility that the Osun elections can happen peacefully?
Well, the people of Osun are ready for the election, which is coming up in 2 days' time on Saturday. And I want to assure us that there is going to be peace. The authorities have deployed sufficient numbers of security operatives, police, army, civil defense, all of them are in town. And even from reports that we gathered from the grapevine was that at each of the 3,763 polling units, there is going to be between 3 and 4 security operatives there. So there will definitely be peace. The election will go on, and the people of Osun should be rest assured. The people that were said to have made one comment or the other, they made them out of emotions. And the House of Reps candidate that you said for when he was nearly killed yesterday, when the Speaker of the House of Assembly and the staffs laid ambush for him in Okuku. It was the police that rescued him, and his vehicle was vandalized, and about 2 or 3 people were said to have been taken away from his convoy, and one was almost killed. And we are saying that we are not known for violence, and we are appealing that the security operatives should do their job in exposing those that are behind all this violent crisis. What they are trying to do is to instill fear in the mind of the people. But also people are ready and they are prepared to come out on Saturday, cast their votes, and let their votes count.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sunday Akere is a former commissioner for Information and Strategy in Osun State and member of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you for sharing with us this evening. And Edo State Police Commands are stepping up joint operations to tackle kidnapping and other criminal activities along the Kogi-Edo border. The two commissioners of police inspected security operations around the Okene-Okbela highway, a route identified as a flashpoint for kidnapping, as the commands seek to strengthen coordination and flush out criminal elements operating in the axis. Our correspondent, Monobala Bobo, joins us now for more.
That place. Hello, good afternoon. I'm live here between the border connecting Kogi State and Edo State. And just behind me, this is a flashpoint where kidnappers would attack commuters on the expressway here. And we've seen the joint forces of the Edo State security forces and the Kogi State security forces coming together to synergize in and look for pathways to which to clamp down on criminality on this particular highway. Speaking to journalists earlier, the CP of Kogi State and the CP of Edo State reiterated their commitment in tackling insecurity and criminality in this particular highway.
IGP Olatunji Disu, PSC Daga, NPM, to strengthen collaboration among the states so that the entire security architecture of the country can be strengthened, and commissioners of police will be very familiar with their terrain, and we create channels of communication and intelligence sharing so that intelligence and operational intelligence can be shared within the shortest time possible, and to make the commissioners of police to be familiar with the terrains where they operate, and to be able to see the challenges and come up with viable options, viable strategies that can help the police to really deal with criminal situations, crime and criminality in their respective commands.
You see, the thing about kidnappers and kidnapping is that when they operate and you are waiting for tactical teams from headquarters, the period it will take tactical teams from headquarters to get here may be more than 40 minutes. But if you have a synergy here, like we have seen on ground, the response time will be better. And that's why we are out here.
You just heard from both our Commissioner of Police, and they are not the only ones doing the talking here. We've heard from our local vigilantes and also community members who have raised issues regarding border issues and tensions between communities across the Edo State and Kogi State borders. Also, concerns being raised about the issue of recurrent attacks, where we see forces, attack criminals in this area, and then they move to other areas close in Edo State. And when they are dealt with, they move back here. And these are just some of the issues that have been raised. But most importantly, stakeholders are calling for synergy between all the security forces so as to flush out criminals in this particular axis. It is back to you in the studio. In my package, I will do a fuller reporting about how security forces are tackling the issue of criminality in Edo and Kogi State, most especially the border areas. It is back to you in the studio.
Our correspondent is Mona Balagbobo. But let's move on to Plateau State, where community members of Gwomjang village in Mangu local government area have called on the government to improve the security situation in and around their communities against armed gunmen. The call came after unknown gunmen invaded their village, shooting sporadically, leaving one person critically injured and fighting for his life. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe was there and now reports.
Security personnel coming to see what happened or to stop the attack or something?
That was after the incident. Everything have come calm. After that, the security personnel came from our area command from Gindri to come and see what is going on. But eventually, the Fulani people we have already pursued them. They have already gone back before the security personnel, after about 1 or 2 hours before the security personnel came into.
Okay, so Mr. Pam, this is worrisome actually that this happened in June, that we were here, I think middle of June, thereabout, and then sometime last month, again, just like you're telling me a while ago, that there was another incident. What do you think can be done so that this will not continue to happen? Like, people keep losing their lives when these things happen, they sustain injuries, livelihoods are lost, and all of those. What do you think should happen so that this would stop once and for all?
Yeah, the government should at least to be sincere to us in the issue of securities. When the incident is happening, you will not see any security personnel. After the incident have calmed down, you will now see them coming in. For what? So they have already cheated us, then you come to do what? That was our cry to the government. Let them do the right thing at the same time.
Thank you very much, sir.
You are welcome, ma.
Okay, so you have heard this incident. It's such a sad one, actually, that each and every time they keep singing the same story. They keep crying that government should come to their aid. And it seems like nothing is being done about it, because that is what they have just said, that this same story is the same thing they get to hear each and every time there's an attack or an attempted attack. I also have here another Mr. Pam to give us a little brief of what he can concerning these insecurities and attacks on them. He actually sustained a gunshot injury, and I heard that he still has that the bullets right still inside of his body right now as we are talking, because he said he has gone to the hospital and the doctor has said that it will come out by itself. So want to hear from him what he can say about this. Mr. Pam, it's a pity that we get to hear all of these stories coming out from Gwanjang village. What do you think can be done, even with your health at the moment? How do you feel in the first place?
Right now, I thank God for what God did to my life, because as of that day when the thing happened in July the 16th, I don't even know that I would survive. But thank God, with the help of God and the help of people who carried me to hospital that day, Jesus saved my life. And what I would plead to the government right now, government should intervene in such a problem like this. Like this problem for a long time, as you have been said. Last time in June, you were there, you witnessed everything, you carry everything, but nothing has done to see that this village has been protected. And up to now, we are still pleading to the government. Let them do something to see that this village has a good living. Because if we reach that community, as we are talking now, even this farm this year we have no get space to farm. So this thing is worrying with us. So we don't know what will happen next, and we are pleading. Let government come and do.
Staying in Jos Plateau State, 3 people have been killed following a clash between herders and Waguval youth in Mangu local government area. According to counterinsurgency publication Zagazola Makama, the victims included 1 community member and 2 herders. Another resident reportedly sustained injuries during the confrontation, which occurred at about 7:35 a.m. on August the 12th. The incident followed an earlier disagreement between youth from the affected communities, which later escalated into violence and gunfire. Troops reportedly responded to the distress calls and moved into the area to contain the situation and restore calm. We have Steve Okwori, a security analyst, joining us virtually. Hello, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
So, Steve, our correspondent was on ground and spoke to a couple of people who are members of that community in Mangu local government area. But then we now see that there's still the issue of an attack again, or this time the herders and the youth that clashed. What do you think is going on? There is that confusion between, is it a religious thing? Is it a business venture? What would you say?
Well, when it has to do with the Plateau, I think I am very worried and most Nigerians out there are also very worried with regards to the insecurity issues in the Plateau. I happen to be a Jos boy. I was born and bred in Jos. The peace that I used to know in Jos is no longer there. A crisis here and there. Just this month of August alone, we've witnessed about 5-6 killings in different parts of Plateau, Barikin-Ladi, Rio, Mango, and all that. And successive governments in Plateau, they have tried to look at the issues with regards to the crisis in Plateau. They have set up different commissions, peace committees, and all that. And they all come up with different outcomes and different recommendations. And we are still not seeing that peace that we know Plateau for, right? And I think that the issue for me as a professional, I think that we are not really going into the root causes of this crisis. And I think the government of Plateau, they have based their investigation on hearsay. Yeah, because we don't see detailed investigation they've had in the Plateau for us to know what the issues are. Sometimes we hear that they are terrorists, sometimes we hear that they are bandits, sometimes we hear that they are killer headsmen and all that. And all this for me are just allegations that has not really given us the true reflection of Plateau has been there. There are experiences there and the current realities, and still we're not getting the desired results. The outcome is still very difficult, right? So I think that we really need to go really deep, carry out a detailed. It
looks like we're losing.
Conflict of, is it farmers' headers? Is it that terrorists are coming into Plateau and killing people? When you look at the modus operandi, they are almost the same. They come in, armed men, come at night, kill people that are going about their lawful businesses or they are in their sleep. These are the ways they come and kill people, right? So we really need to see what is really happening. The law enforcement agents, the police, the military and others, they really need to carry out detailed investigation so that we will know who these people are, where are they coming from, you know.
Thank you very much. Steve Okwori is a security analyst. Thank you for coming in this evening. We would look at other news to bring you into the studio because these are things we need to dissect further. You said, you made a statement that it looks as if the root causes are being avoided. What are these root causes and why are they being avoided? These are questions that need to be answered. Thank you once again, Steve. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the 2027 general elections are drawing closer. What are the political parties stepping up to do? Details in a moment. Welcome back. Nigeria's 2027 general elections are drawing closer, a little under 160 days before the next elections. But political parties are stepping up engagements with key interest groups in a bid to win their support ahead of the polls. The Social Democratic Party, led by its presidential candidate Adewale Adebayo, held an interactive session with the Middle Belt Forum in Abuja with discussions focusing on security, unemployment, economy, justice, and equity. SDP says the meeting is part of a wider engagement with key stakeholders to understand their concern and explore ways of collaboration ahead of the elections.
It is an insult to the generosity of the spirit of Yoruba people. We do not have the greed to go to one state and choose 3 ministers for one state. Where in my state, for example, the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Interior are from the same local government. Nobody who is a responsible leader will govern like that. Where a large swath of the country is not represented in the government. And Nigeria is full of talent everywhere. So it is totally unacceptable that Ogun State will have 3 ministers, Ondo State will have 3 ministers, and these are key ministers. And under them, they profilate themselves with different appointments of their cousins and different people. This is not something we can ever be proud of, and it's not something that we want to be associated with.
Our people, as you rightly said, fought for the unity of this country. Our people sacrifice a lot for this country. We don't want to talk about being the food basket of the country, the this and that. That one we know is an economic factor. But the truth of this is that we are the backbone of the unity of this country. Until date, if you go to check, those people who are also still rendering great services.
I'm being joined in the studio by Dr. Kavwam Stanley, Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so that engagement, that's one political party coming to engage with your forum.
Yeah.
I expected there'll most likely be others coming to engage, but do you think that will make any difference? This is not the first time you've had these engagements just before elections.
Yeah.
So what do you think this will make any difference?
Yeah, it certainly would make a significant difference in the political schematic as we gravitate towards 2027 general elections. To just take you on a brief walk down memory lane, in 2023, the Middle Belt assessed the pedigree of all those who contested for the presidential election. And after a series of interface with the leadership of the Middle Belt, including the Elders Council, the youth, the women wing, and then the NEC, which comprises of the state executives in the 15 Middle Belt states, we unanimously adopted Peter Gregory Obi as the candidate of the Middle Belt region. And we unveiled him in Jos on the 23rd of September in 2022. And you could bear me witness that the number of votes that were churned out for the Labour Party in 2023 in all Middle Belt states significantly, brought Peter Obi and situated him within the political landscape as a formidable force. So that in itself represents the tremendous influence of the Middle Belt region in the politics of this country. So what we are doing, it's to open our doors to all those who are contesting so that we can assess their pedigree based on their manifesto and what they're presenting. You are aware of the challenges that the Middle Belt is grappling with, particularly insecurity, displacement of farmers from their farmlands, villages being ransacked. I mean, the humanitarian burden is growing on a daily basis. So any person that would secure the vote of the Middle Belt region must be someone who appeals to the sensibility of the people, particularly with respect to the challenges that we are facing as a region. So we, of course, many others are also are welcome to come present their manifesto, whatever they intend to offer Nigerians in 2027. But as a region, we already have our own we have our own series of demands, and whoever that would secure the vote of the Middle Belt region must appeal to those.
We'll come back to this. We'll take a short break, and we'll come back to this conversation with Dr. Stanley. I mean, they have their own demands. They have things they would want to see done for the Middle Belt. But who would do that for them? We'll be back in a moment to stay. Welcome back. I still have Dr. Kavwam Stanley, Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum here in the studio. So, Stanley, you said the Middle Belt Forum and states have their own demands, and but you're waiting, your doors are open for as many as will come. The question would be, and it's more or less like the same question I asked you earlier, but you took us down memory lane, and I ask you, all of them come to the Middle Belt Forum to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Would that guarantee them anything? Would that guarantee the fact that those things they said they would do? And if they are not done, in 2023 or in 2023, you had some people come and make promises. Practically all of them came to the Middle Belt Forum, had meetings with the forum, had meetings, different campaign events in different parts of the Middle Belt. And this 2026, did they do, let's say, 2% of what the
Okay, just like I stated, the Middle Belt unanimously endorsed the Labour Party. That's the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, that's His Excellency Peter Obi, in 2023. Unfortunately, he didn't emerge. So I believe that if he had emerged, that would have placed us in a comfortable position to assess whether he's been able to fulfill, those demands or the promises he made to the region. However, our interface and the interactive session that we had with the candidate of the SDP today was a very, very important conversation that has set a significant agenda that I believe would significantly redefine the political space in the coming weeks, months, as we gravitate towards election. Because the fact is this, for you to be the president of this country, you should be able to understand how to manage diversity. Managing diversity implies that, we have a very heterogeneous population in the Middle Belt. We have about over 300 ethnic nationalities, straddling, from Kwara right up to Borno, Taraba, name it, Niger, Kogi, Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa, the FCT, name all of them, the 15 states of the Middle Belt. And we all have our own unique tradition, culture, and values. But we have things that unite us as a people because we have, the problem of insecurity. It's a recurring decimal in all of the states of the Middle Belt. The problem of food insecurity, the problem of displacement are all issues that the Middle Belt region is grappling with. So, with respect to the conversations we had, the economic viability of the Nigeria took center stage in that conversation. Apart from the economy of the country, it's the fact that, look, you cannot continue to expose the womb of the Nigerian nation to a series of unrestrained violent orchestrations, because the Middle Belt houses the entire fertile land that produces food for the nation. Benue State, for instance, is a food basket of the Nigerian nation. Now, if farmers are being killed, farmlands destroyed, livelihoods destroyed, and people cannot even produce food, it means that even the security and health of the nation is significantly threatened. So when your stomach is sick, it means that your entire body would be sick, particularly because what? It is the Middle Belt that produces the entire food that fits the entire nation. So every leader who understands what governance implies, which as stated in the Constitution, it's primarily to guarantee what? Protection of human life and then the welfare of people. It then means that he must certainly focus and concentrate on the concerns of the Middle Belt region. And in particular, we have made it very, very clear, and I make bold to state today that we as a region, that's the Middle Belt region, have already endorsed and re-echoed the fact that the South still has the right to retain the presidency in 2027, so which means that whoever we're going to side with as a presidential candidate would certainly be from the South. And then most importantly is the fact that in 2031, the Middle Belt would produce the next president of the country.
Thank you very much. We're speaking with Dr. Kavum Stanley, Deputy National Policy Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum. Thank you for coming this evening.
Thank you for having me.
All right, moving on away from Nigeria to Zimbabwe. Hundreds have gathered in northern Zimbabwe to honor victims of a ferry disaster on Lake Kariba that claimed at least 44 lives. One of the survivors, Chance Siyamavhu, recalled the chaos as passengers scrambled for life jackets, many unable to use them as the vessel capsized. The memorial service brought families and communities together to mourn those lost, while rescue teams are continuing their attempts to recover victims and investigate the disaster.
Saka boti parakakudubuka zeshua vazhinji vakamhanyira kutora life jacket. Vazhinji vacho vanga vasingazivi kuti anopfekwa sei, anoitwa sei, mhepo ichirova. Saka mhepo yakaramba ichirova, vazhinji vacho vakakundikana.
Ini ndakatosvika kubatirirawo pazvinhu pachiwindo so chakanga chiripo ndokubva ndadonha naro ndichibva ndawira mumvura paya ndakazama pfungwa yangu yakangonditi fambisa maoko.
A major wildfire swept through Siviri in Greece's Halkidiki region, forcing residents and holidaymakers to evacuate as the flames reached homes. Strong winds fueled the blaze, which spread rapidly through vegetation and residential areas, prompting emergency alerts for evacuation in Siviri and nearby Volca. More than 120 firefighters, 41 vehicles, 9 firefighting aircraft and 3 helicopters were deployed as authorities battled to contain the flames and protect properties. I hope that flame is contained as quickly as possible. And that's all for this hour. But before we go, here's a look at our major stories. We told you that Amnesty International is set to launch a campaign against Osun East Senator Francis Fadausi over alleged kill comments. We also brought you the story of 3 people that were killed as herders clashed with youth in Plateau State. And you heard that the vote counting has begun in Zambia in the presidential elections. Let's hear from you. Do send your comments or eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Neota Egbe, and I'll see you again tomorrow.